discus lariat.
The huge suplex.
Good morning, everybody out there in wrestling land. Today is April 1st, April Fool's Day, but we don't plan any, well, I was going to say we don't plan any fools, but then again, look who's on the show with us. All of us are fools because why? We're wrestling fans. No, we love it. Thank you for tuning in to Thoughts Count Anywhere today, coming to you live from the WWDBTV studios in the heart of Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm going to introduce the man to my right. Really needs no introduction. We simply call him the Chief.
Good morning, everybody. And the number is 702-992-3207.
Wow. He throws me off when he does his job. But anyway,
You're welcome.
as you'll notice, not in studio is our good friend, Mr. Matt Mullen. He's actually out in L.A., and right now in about an hour, the NXT show is going to start. We're hoping he's going to link in because we want to get his predictions. Thomas Burnett, our historian, he's not available. So you know what? I fired him for the day, and I've now brought in my new full-time, at least for the next 2 hours, my agent, Mr. Ronald Young, out in Florida. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great.
You look good. Nice shirt. I see story time with Matt, it looks like, so that's good.
Yep.
I love that you're wearing our swag. But ladies and gentlemen, today is WrestleMania Night 1, WrestleMania Night 2 tomorrow. The Super Bowl of professional wrestling is this weekend out in Hollywood. And you'll notice here on the desk, we have all the belts out here that represent the Universal title. We are right, and we even have a Hollywood clapper here on the end to show everybody we are not messing around. This is the place to be. For everybody watching on Facebook, thank you so much for doing so. If you want to watch it on YouTube, we have our Thoughts Cut Anywhere show YouTube channel, WWDBTV YouTube channel. We have downloadable apps if you need to leave and want to keep listening to us if you have an Android, WWDBTV from the store. If you have an iPhone, WWDBTV LV to your iPhone and Apple products. And if you miss everything, that's okay. Just go back to YouTube, go back to Facebook, or better yet, if you have Roku, download the WWDBTV channel to your Roku service. You can rewatch this show, any show. Why? Because we have a plentiful list of shows here at WWDBTV. Knew where I had to get rid of plethora. I was told by John.
Come down to the studio and watch live.
That's even better. Yeah, come on. Well, Ronald can't come down to the studio. He's in Florida.
Yes, he can. It's just been a while.
Oh, you start walking now is what you said? Okay.
He can be.
100% correct because we do love people in studio to watch live with us. Yes, sir. How are you?
Go by foot or hoof. No, anyway, hey, I want to do a shout out.
Please.
Shout out to Dustin Rhodes.
Yes.
On becoming a grandfather.
Yeah, right.
His daughter Dakota had a baby boy this past week. So
excellent.
Congratulations.
Absolutely.
Let's see what else.
If he was smart, he should have named the he should have named the baby TCA. Wouldn't that have been better? Anyway. All right. So good morning, Thomas. Thomas Burnett, my former agent for the next 2 hours, is now in the chat room. You guys.
See you, Thomas.
There you go. By the way, if you're watching us on YouTube, send your comments. John can pull them in also. We'd love to see him there too.
All joking aside, Thomas, please get better.
Yes, absolutely.
Please, all joking aside, get better. Wish you were here so you and Ronald could battle today.
Oh, I don't think that's going to stop them. They'll go out in the chat room.
But unfortunately, so
we had to, we just had to do it. We're hoping Matt Mullen is going to connect with us at some point because we do want to get his predictions for WrestleMania.
Why? It's Bruno Sammartino all the way. I could say that all day.
You can. I promise you, you could say it. You could even say Moolah. I will not stop you whatsoever.
Fabulous Moolah.
That's right. I actually met her in person once.
Johnny Mae Young.
Johnny Mae Young.
You know who that is?
No.
You don't?
Well, it's Mae Young. I mean, I know
That's
Mae.
her real name.
Oh, her first name is Johnny? Oh, I didn't know that.
Johnny Mae Young.
Wow. All right. I didn't know that. See,
yes.
Who allowed this jabroni on the air? Thomas, you're looking at the guy right here. This guy right here brought Ronald in your absence because you keep dipping us all these weeks, and I brought someone in who I can rely on.
If you were a little bit more reliable, Thomas, you'd be in studio.
I'm not getting involved. But I think we've got quite a bit to cover.
We do. We absolutely do. So let's get started with some.
I think we should.
You think?
Ding, ding, ding.
There's no Matt's, unless Matt joins us and has a quick story right now. There's no story time with Matt unless he has something from California.
Wait a minute. I'm going to do time with Chief.
Okay. I don't have an intro
That's
for
okay.
it, so
Don't
take
worry
it away.
about it. Story time with Chief. This is from the historian himself.
Uh-oh.
Thursday, the historian was working at his store, and the security guy was watching one of the customers that was shopping in the store. And as he was observing them, they never went to the checkout. They took the cart, started
Went right out the
going
door?
out the door, started going out the door. $609 later
Wow.
in
Goods.
they're coming back in the store. The security guard confiscated the cart. Now, I didn't get the rest of the story, whether they were arrested or whether they were just told to leave the store, but they did get all the goods back. So
Wow.
that's the story.
Wow.
Story today.
No frozen peas released on the frozen food aisle for Thomas?
No, not even a turkey.
Not even a turkey? All right, let's get started with some rumor reports. I hear voices. Reports say that Triple H, Nick Khan, and Vince McMahon all have separate offices at SoFi Stadium this weekend. What do you think? Does that indicate anything? What do you think, guys? All right, good answer.
I think, honestly, it could lead to two ways. One, the three of them aren't getting along. Okay. Or, in seriousness, since Vince has come back and I guess brought his little ass white boy, Nick Khan, back.
Well, Nick was always there.
Or Nick was always there. Okay.
Right.
So,
because remember when he left, it was Nick and Stephanie.
That's right. So I'll take that comment back. But maybe Nick and Triple H really don't want anything
to do with Vince.
And that's why each of them and I'm assuming that Triple H and Nick have their separate offices all the time.
Anyway, yeah, just like Mark Carrano had his own office.
Exactly. Right. So, maybe the bottom line is they don't want Vince interfering in the product.
I find that.
That's why I wore this shirt today. All right.
I don't see it being any issue because there's so much activity especially for Triple H today. I mean, he's going to be in and out of his office or wherever they have him set up anyway. And for him to be sharing a space in that regard would make sense to me. I don't read anything into this except for the fact that Vince McMahon has an office there. That's the one that bothers me because he's not supposed to be involved in creative. Why would he need an office to be there?
Well, he's got.
By the way, Thomas says they left.
Okay. What the hell are they going to? What are they going to do? Let him just stay in the toilet the whole time?
No, why can't he sit in a box up in the arena if he's not involved? Give him a nice. WWE can certainly afford a beautiful suite for him to sit up there and watch, right? Why does he have to have an office in the back?
Does he still own the company?
Oh, sure. He's a majority stockholder.
So then he can have whatever he wants.
Absolutely.
If he wants an office, he can have an office.
No, I agree. I totally agree with that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and I've seen reports too that Vince has come back as a WWE employee. So that may have something to do with him having his own office too.
I saw that yesterday, where he's been rehired, or more or less,
as an employee.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that could be anything from
like $1 million a year salary.
That could be anything, like cleaning the toilets to whatever.
Yep, negotiating a sale.
Yeah, it could be
like the one reported today.
It could be. Hey,
hi, Brandy.
That was a good story.
Hello, Brandy love.
Hey,
all right. Yeah, go ahead.
Good morning, Brandy. Anyway, it's hard to say. And I think sometimes we read too much into it. All right. My opinion, all right. I think before a sale goes through, and this is just my thought. When Vince McMahon bought the company from his father, it was Vince, it was his wife, it was Stephanie, and it was Shane, the four of them. Okay. Now, and I believe they were all on the board.
Was Shane ever on the board?
Yeah. I believe he was.
Okay.
I think so.
I believe he was. The interesting thing is when and where the sale comes about.
Hi, Brandon.
I would think that all four of them would have a say in it, not just Vince. Now, Vince may be the negotiator for it, and that's okay. Vince is a stellar businessman. I'd put him up there. I would put him up there above Donald Trump as far as a businessman. But that's not saying much. Anyway,
John is choking.
I know. John, that's why I said
John is falling off the seat behind the board back there.
Anyway, Vince is a great businessman, but I see all four of them having a say in the sale when it happens.
I'm going to, and I would hope that
Can
that
I
happens.
lean back in my chair now?
Just for a second.
Okay, thank you.
Because I know you
That's far enough.
that you worked hard getting that out there. I agree with that in principle. I do. However, I'm going to go back to the exact statement that Ronald just brought up and
Talk to
something
me.
you just brought up.
Okay,
Who's the damn majority owner of the company?
the McMahon.
Vince.
No. Vince McMahon, 51%, his name only.
Okay,
In theory,
okay.
he doesn't need to talk to anybody about the decision of a
Well,
sale.
then he can tell them all to kiss these
Right,
ass.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
See, I'll come out and
But
say
as a
it.
good father and a good businessman and all these other people that are involved, because it came out also this week that Stephanie only, she allegedly mentioned she would only come back to the company when Vince has sold the company and Vince is no longer involved. So should Vince talk to the rest of the family? I would say yes, he should, and maybe get opinions, but ultimately the decision is his.
I would hope that when the company gets sold, Vince McMahon gives each of his grandchildren $50 million. All
Absolutely.
right.
I agree. Set the kids up.
That's
Absolutely.
it.
All right, let's go on to the next topic
All right.
before we go to break. Shawn Michaels says that Vince McMahon does not have any say in any X team. Buy or in NXT. Buy or sell. Do we believe it or do we not?
I would believe that.
And why would that be?
I believe that
Why do you think that?
because I think when Triple H left NXT, there wasn't nobody else there to run it except for Shawn, and then Shawn has the same business mind now that Triple H does.
Do we see any evidence in the storylines in NXT that might have Vince's fingerprint on it? As an example, people believe that McMahon is involved in the storyline with Lesnar and Amos. People believe that that's his thumbprint on that match. On that match.
I don't see any of the storylines in NXT that would show that Vince is involved in it.
Okay. Chief?
You know, I would assume. No. Yeah, I would assume, and I hope that Vince and Triple H get along. And in saying that, we know the kind of background Triple H and Shawn have. So I don't think it's a work. I think that Shawn is running NXT and the storylines and the storylines are
Legitimately theirs.
Shane and whoever else is creative down there
Mhm.
are helping write the storylines and make the storylines up. And you know, we'll see where it goes. I you know, if Vince is going to have a place to dabble, it's
Right.
either going to be Raw or SmackDown. And more than likely, in my mind, it's going to be Raw.
Okay.
That's just my opinion.
Okay. A couple of comments in the chat room. Our historian believes he has no fingerprints on NXT. Brandon says, believe that. Oh, I like that little comment there. You know, rumor has it Uncle Howdy's been spotted out in LA. And of course, the rumor mill has always said that people believe that Believe is playing Uncle Howdy. So here's a question before we go to break, and I'm only stalling because John is doing some camera work from away from the board.
Because I broke the camera.
So here's my question. A, will Vince McMahon appear on camera during WrestleMania weekend, during the WrestleMania? 2, will we see some remnants of Bray Wyatt / Alexa Bliss / Uncle Howdy at some point during WrestleMania weekend?
I say they're going to show Vince in some shape or form of him being there. They may just pan to him real fast and show that Vince is there. And I was reading something earlier that said that they were talking about Bo Dallas coming out with Bobby Lashley
And what would
making an appearance.
Well, what purpose would that serve in the storyline? Well, first of all,
I have
involved in WrestleMania. Right? Wasn't Bray Wyatt supposed to wrestle Bobby Lashley this weekend? Am I right on that?
yes. Yes.
I'm going to give you my answer real quick.
Yeah, please.
No, 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 and no.
There you go. No to the nth power. I mean, there's no logic for it except if they're going to try to go back to Bray Wyatt and Bobby Lashley some point. But to just have Bo Dallas come out with them, I'd rather see him come out as Uncle Howdy with Lashley would make more sense.
If they're going to do that, okay. If they're going to do that, I'm going to run this one right by you. If they're going to do all that crap, they better bring Randy Orton out.
He's supposedly
Okay.
out in LA also.
And I'm going to leave it at that. They
Okay.
better bring Mr. Orton out.
Brandon believes that both of them at some point will make an appearance during WrestleMania weekend. All right, with that, it is 1:15. Believe it or not, gents, it's time for our first break. I've just heard from our good friend Matt in LA. Look for him to be logging in very shortly. He's just kind of getting his stuff together before he logs in. So Matt will join us. And as soon as he does, folks, we're going to jump over and start making our predictions for WrestleMania nights 1 and 2 so that we can have Matt go on and enjoy the rest of his time out there. Thank you for watching TCA. That's Ronald for the day. The Chief,
Yep.
I'm there in the voice. We'll be right back.
Aloha, this is April Hom, the Royal Hawaiian from Glow, and you're watching Thoughts Count Anywhere.
Another pin? Like, these pins are, like, sucking.
This is your warlord of weird Sin Bodhi, and you are watching Thoughts Count Anywhere right here on Facebook, Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. till 11 a.m. Pacific Coast time. Stay tuned. Do I look like I'm clowning around? Buddy, I'm Aaron Phillips, and I am with the legend, Sabu. And Sabu, you were telling me earlier about a special wrestling show that you really like, and that is what? Thoughts Count Anywhere, that's a coincidence. The same show that runs Saturdays, 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific, right here on Facebook. You better listen to the man to watch.
Okay. John Stiles here, host of Doing It with Styles here on WWDBTV. If you're a CBD oil user and a coffee drinker, I got some great news for you. I found this hemp-infused coffee from Planet Harvest Health. That's planetharvesthealth.com. Now, this happens to be the Swiss chocolate almond, which I'm kind of fond of. I used to take the CBD oil, put a couple drops under my tongue, and I didn't really like the taste of it that great. So I started dropping it in my coffee in the morning. So figured that would kind of kill it. Well, it kind of screws up the taste of the coffee. When I found this, it's awesome. It's great tasting coffee. You brew it just like your regular coffee, and you get all the benefits of the hemp. So check it out on planetharvesthealth.com. They got a lot of other great products. They've got spices, they've got oils, they've got creams. So check them out on planetharvesthealth.com. Thank you. And remember, like Planet Harvest Health, if you're going to do it with Styles.
Hey there. Welcome back to Thoughts Count Anywhere, coming to you live from the WWDBTV studios in the heart of Las Vegas, Nevada. But the heart of the wrestling world, since this is WrestleMania weekend, is out in LA. We are waiting and hoping that Mr. Matt will have an opportunity to chime with us shortly. What does this say from Brandon? Chance Christian shows up. Reports Khan gave him the okay to be there. So maybe with Edge and they do the Brood opening, since he's seen the Demon this weekend, I think that would be a great entrance for Edge to come back with the Brood intact, don't you? Going up against the Demon so that Edge comes out as...
So you mean they're going to bring Gangrel back too?
Sure.
As part of the Brood?
Mm-hmm. Why not? he's not tied to anybody. It would be easier to bring him back.
I
And
mean,
Tony Khan's apparently giving him the.
I'm just throwing that out
Yeah.
there.
I'd love to see it, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I think the place would go crazy. I think Matt would go crazy if the entire brood comes out like that.
Well, you know who I'd like to see come back?
Who's that?
Johnny Knoxville. That would be
Him and Andy Kaufman.
that would be good.
I would like to see a death match, so to speak, between Andy Kaufman and Johnny Knoxville. I would even referee that match.
With Pat McAfee.
With
the
Pat
referee.
McAfee. Right, exactly. Thomas, no.
The first one to move loses.
Right, yeah, exactly. I thought we were getting rid of that jabroni. First of all, Thomas, you're not here, so the word "we" does not apply to you. I hate to say that. And today, without you here, Ronald will stay with us as long as we feel that he should, or until Ronald says I have to go to take care of my daughter. Or
Oh, we just lost.
we
the
just,
seed.
yes.
Well, here's the bottom line. As far as I'm concerned, Ronald can stay the whole show
Absolutely.
if he wants to. If he can't, well, then that's understandable.
Right, I gave him that caveat.
But you know, I want to throw out there real quick. How's the Savannah Bananas doing?
Oh,
They're doing good.
All right.
I'm still working on trying to get them
No.
the
it's
interview,
all
but that's good.
It's all good.
And I will say, Ronald did a great job opening the door
Absolutely.
for us to even communicate with them and hope to get them somehow involved in TCA. All right,
We'll see.
I'm going to stall a little bit, hoping that we get Matt in here.
Bruno San Martino.
That'll get me. Let's talk about the Hall of Fame inductions last night.
Okay.
Ronald, you said you watched them all. I
Yep.
caught the last two where Tim White received the Warrior Award, which was totally ridiculous that he went in that way instead of just the regular Hall of Fame. However, he was acknowledged, and rightfully so. And then I saw the entire Rey Mysterio thing. No, that's the wrong one.
Okay.
So just give us a quick synopsis of the inductions with the exception of Rey going in.
I agree with you with Tim White. I think he should go in as a referee, be the first referee to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
What makes
But overall, the rest of it, Stacy Keibler was good. He had Mick Foley and Tori Wilson inducted her. Muda's always fantastic. I've always been a fan of Muda.
Who inducted him?
Of course, Ric Flair inducted him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then for the Andy Kaufman, they had a video from the King, and he introduced Jimmy Hart to come out and induct Andy Kaufman into the Hall of Fame. So it was great to see the King
Yeah.
be back.
Yeah.
He may not be 100%, but he looked good. He was talking good. I was happy to see that.
So no side effects. So did anybody come out to accept on behalf of Kaufman, or did just Jimmy say
His family came out to
accept it?
accept it on his behalf. Yeah.
Good.
Well, you know, if you've never seen it, fans, go back into whatever the program is.
The biographies?
No. And
Peacock?
no, Peacock. God no.
Well, but they have all the history
No.
stuff up there.
No.
I don't know. They have the archives.
and go back and watch Andy Kaufman, okay, and Jerry the King Lawler, and Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Hart and Andy Kaufman wrestle Jerry Lawler from the Memphis Arena. Okay, you want to talk about something hilarious? And I mean, as I've said before, it's amazing how certain wrestlers can put you over. Freaking Lawler and Hart put Kaufman over.
Yes.
They put him over. And I really, and I mean this, I still, 40 years later, I still wonder if Kaufman and Jerry on the late night show, if that slap wasn't a work and that coffee being thrown wasn't a work.
If you did you have a chance? Thomas says go to YouTube and you can catch it. Did you see?
That's it, YouTube. That's what I was trying to think of. Damn. See, I need the historian here every once in a
You
while.
couldn't remember YouTube?
No, I couldn't remember it.
So I could understand if you didn't remember
I had to get out of here.
MySpace but I do
I
have a
had
question
to get
for
out
you.
of here,
Because why?
and now I can see it. YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, there it is, right there.
He's got the logo on his main
The
screen
fourth
on his
one, the
iPad.
fourth one in, the third one down. Yeah.
That's my.
See what I got to put up with?
Oh,
You better join in, man. Don't be afraid.
That's funny.
I won't be afraid.
But in all seriousness, I did watch the A&W biography on Jerry Lawler.
Yeah,
Now, to answer or whoever just brought up about the slap and all that,
that was me.
Lawler.
Are you losing it or
Yeah,
what?
because
Okay.
I'm responding to something to by the way.
Okay.
It's contagious. So according to Jerry,
You better have another
I'm
donut.
telling you, where's the donut? So according to Jerry,
Yes, sir.
he got a call from Andy the night before their appearance
On Letterman.
on Letterman.
Yeah.
And Andy brought the idea to Lawler about doing something on the show physical. And so Andy came up with the idea of the slap.
And
I don't know about the coffee.
The
I don't
coffee.
remember. But that thing was according to Jerry's side of the story, that idea all came from Kaufman to do all that
Well,
you saw.
the coffee started it.
Right. Oh, that's
Okay?
right. That's
the
right.
coffee started it.
That gave him
and
the
then,
impetus to
And
do
then
it.
Lawler
Right. Got up and just wailed on him.
and
So that was
Kaufman
set
went
up.
ass over head.
Correct. And
Yeah.
that was all set up according to Lawler's side of the story. So,
You know,
but either way, it was great TV at the time.
Great
like you
story.
said, it put each other over.
great story
Yeah.
segment. And then put them on the front of TV Guide.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And,
Yes, sir.
and Jimmy Hart was talking about that match, and he said that him and Kaufman were at opposite corners, and Jimmy said he was counting the three, and then they were going to go tag Jerry. Well, he got the three. Jimmy went in, and Kaufman stayed in the corner, and he said that the King caught him, turned him around, and said, "Look, Kaufman started the corner." So after Jerry took care of him, he crawled over to the corner and asked Andy Kaufman, "What were you thinking?" He goes, "I was going on 4."
And I know, you being down in Florida, I'm going to bring this up. One of the best commentators to put things over, in my mind, one of the best,
Aaron Phillips.
Lance Russell.
Oh, he was great. He was part of
Bar
that interview.
none.
Yeah.
Lance could put those type of matches and segments over.
And
him and Gordon Soley.
And he was part of that biography about Lawler and that Kaufman thing. And he's got a great voice too. He's tremendous.
I was fortunate. I got to meet Lance Russell in 2014 out here in Vegas, and what a class gentleman. He could tell some stories too, some backstage stories. Man, I had some fun with him.
All right. So who was left after that one? Was it just Tim White and then Rey Mysterio?
Yep.
Okay. So
can I answer a question? How do you feel about Stacy Keibler going in?
Oh, that's a good question.
Come on.
I believe that there is other people that should go in before her. I'm not saying she shouldn't go in, but there's other people that should go in before her.
Such as, who would be the first person to come to mind? We had our pick.
First person. I've got, there's Victoria.
Take your time. It's not a tough question.
Victoria, there's even
her name too.
There's
one name we think even more prominent than that has been overlooked, even though this person was inducted as part of a faction.
China.
That's right.
Yep.
Good morning, William, out at TRC. Thank you for joining us, buddy. As always, we're talking Hall of Fame. We'll be getting to picks momentarily. So hello to everybody out there.
China, Beth Phoenix.
She's already in.
Yep.
Isn't Phoenix already? Phoenix is already in.
Yeah, Beth Phoenix is already in.
How about Mrs. Wife?
No way.
No, she's not in. Michelle McCool.
No.
Michelle McCool. There's another one.
Yeah. But China, I think, heads the list with Victoria. 1 and 1A should be China and Victoria.
Victoria's. We've had the good fortune of having Victoria on here, on Thoughts Count Anywhere.
The show you're on is Thoughts Count Anywhere.
On Thoughts Count Anywhere. We've had her. And
Just read the banner back here.
What
if you
a-
forget.
what a
Thoughts
class
Count
lady.
Anywhere, right here.
what
Oh,
a
she was
class
tremendous.
lady.
Yeah, she was
Had
great.
so much fun with her, man, the whole weekend. I mean, she's just, you ever get a chance to meet her, man? Tell her the Chief said hello.
All right.
She'll know.
Let's talk about Rey Mysterio before we get to the bottom of the hour. So,
What do you want to talk about?
well, Rey Mysterio was the headliner.
Yes.
First of all, beautiful mask that was made for him. I absolutely loved it. So,
Yeah.
Made in Mexico by the best leatherman in the business. He does boots, wrestling boots, mask for all the luchadors. I don't remember his name.
he mentioned him last night.
And I apologize, but gorgeous mask. Gorgeous mask.
So, I think part of the induction with Rey last night was going to be what, if anything, would happen with Dominic and Rey and all that stuff. We talked on this show last week. At least, we discussed, should there be anything that goes on? I think we were all in agreement that we really didn't want anything big, stupid, over the top to happen to take away from Rey's spotlight and the value of his induction. And I know I don't know if they're going to be rerunning any of the segments of the Hall of Fame ceremonies on USA or anything like they've done in the past, but he gets introduced, takes a slow walk out. Of course, everybody's standing ovation up on the stage, except for three people, Dominic, Rhea, and Damian Priest. And you could just tell on TV time that Rey was taking his time, saying hello to everybody around them, so that everybody can obviously see that they were the only three sitting,
Right.
just respecting. Rey shakes her. He starts walking down the ramp, then turns back around and goes back to Triple H because he was right in front of them. And then as he gets into the ring and everybody's, doing their thing, and then all of a sudden the camera switches because the three of them then stand up, they pause, and they walk out.
Right.
And I think that's all they needed to do. I'm glad they didn't do anything more than that. And Rey, Ronald, I talked to you about this before he went on the air. What was Rey's response to all that when the crowd started booing and all that other stuff? He said one simple line, which was?
I'll take care of business on Sunday or today.
Right. And the crowd erupted. And
Yep.
And I'm glad because then Rey, everybody could focus on Rey and his induction opportunity. And that I tip my cap to WWE handling that, I think, in the best way it needed to be done. So
Absolutely.
thoughts?
Yes.
Go ahead. Thoughts, Duke. That's the show. Thoughts count anyway.
If you take a look at the picture,
Which one?
when Rey turned around and looked at Dom and Rhea and Damian,
As he was first walking out?
right?
Mhm.
Okay. If you took notice, Triple H was in the front of him.
Yes.
Do you know who was sitting behind him?
Immediately behind Triple H? Or
No.
behind,
In behind Dominic and Rhea,
I did not notice.
Booker T.
Oh, that's right. He went back and shook hands with Booker T behind. That's right. Yep.
Yep.
There was nothing going to happen.
When I saw
Nothing going to happen.
When I saw him
at
go back to
all.
Booker T, I'm thinking, well, that's probably the best setup for that. Yep, I thought it. Yep,
There
you're
ain't
right.
nothing going to happen.
Right.
But here's my real comment. Dominic staying in kayfabe
Yes.
had to be the hardest thing he had to do to see his father go into the Hall of Fame. And if he didn't get over playing his role,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't give him props for
Mhm.
that,
Mm-hmm.
then we're not wrestling fans, folks.
1,000.
Exactly.
That was my immediate. I was thinking of that exact thought, and then as he went into the back, I want to hope that he broke kayfabe and actually stood in front of a monitor, watching his father be inducted, and started crying like a little baby because he's proud of his father.
And that's the only
Right?
that's
Well-
the only thing I wrote down right there.
Yep.
There was a camera that caught him in the back as they come through the curtain, and Dominic cut a promo, but that was it.
All right, so he stayed in character through the curtain, but I think after that, once everything dispersed, maybe went back
Yeah.
to the locker room where there was a TV, whatever. I want to believe the story
Well,
dropped there, and they, he
Yes.
bothered that way. But you're a million% correct. That's 2 for you today.
Hey,
Regarding,
but here's the kicker, though.
yes.
Excuse me. I want to make this point. You got Rhea going against Charlotte Flair.
Yes.
That's going to be a tough as hell match.
Absolutely.
You got
Yep.
Damian Priest and what's his name? They're going to wrestle. That's going to be a hell of a match. So come the match with Dominic and Ray, it's just going to be Dominic and Ray.
Well,
all right.
Damian Priest isn't wrestling.
He's not on the
He
card.
isn't?
Not at WrestleMania.
Oh.
He doesn't have a match.
That doesn't mean he's not going to get involved.
Okay, well,
That's why I said he doesn't have a match, but he probably will get involved with the Finn Balor.
But now with the LWO back together,
Yeah.
they definitely will have Race back in that match.
I'm glad you.
Oh, yes.
I'm glad you corrected me. Thank you. But
Everybody else he yells at when we correct you, you get a thank you.
but anyway, I think it's just going to be Ray and Dominic in
I
the
hope so.
match.
I hope so.
I hope it's a clean match, no interference at all.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think there'll be some shenanigans. And as much as we talked about Ray putting Dominic over in this match, I don't think it's going to happen. I think Ray beats him. And then that story will then play out like you were talking about earlier. We didn't get the prognostications, but you talked about another high-profile match this weekend that could play out.
Yep.
I have a sneaky feeling that same thing could play out in the Dominic and Ray storyline.
Let me throw this out at you. Other than the LWO, who I'm glad to see Ray is pushing.
Yes.
Okay. The only real other luchador in the WWE is Dominic.
Well, in terms of roots and stuff, yeah, I agree with that. Our buddy, Mr. Historian, put something in there after you mentioned.
Who cares?
After you mentioned Booker, says he wouldn't mind seeing Booker and Ray take on Dom and Damian at some point.
I'd rather
Well,
Triple
Booker T's done. Booker T said he wasn't wrestling no more after Royal Rumble. So that theory was automatically shot Thomas Burnett.
That's what I thought.
Did you just call him Burger King?
I said Burnett.
No. Before that, you said who was done after Royal Rumble?
Booker T.
Sounded like
It
right.
sounded like Burger
Sounded
King.
like-
No, I said Booker T.
Yeah. We thought you were besmirching him. All right, we're past the bottom of the hour.
Christ,
Purposely
we get plethora now. It's besmirching.
besmirching, and it's wonderful. What does that say, Thomas? I read a rumor that Dom could come out in a lowrider to further get on. I heard that also to come out in Eddie's lowrider style.
Does that not? Come on, man. You're in LA. You know they're going to come out in the low ride.
And even I'm going to tell you a little more gasoline to the bonfire here about why Ray may win tonight.
Is this all hearsay?
Well, it's reading the sheets and rumors like we always talk about. How about this one?
Are they reputable sheets?
They're my bed sheets. How's that?
No.
So Vicky Guerrero's contract with AEW ends in July, and she has made it publicly known that she would love to get back involved in that storyline. So that could be another thing that adds to Ray beating Dominic. Then all of a sudden, getting ahead of SummerSlam, we see "Excuse me" start coming in, and then it takes off.
And then Melina gets involved.
They just bring out everybody.
Yeah.
But somehow end it.
Yeah.
At SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So Vicky Guerrero could be a big X factor here in terms of variable. All right, we're gonna get ready now for the Chiefs rant with the. Can you grab it before it falls? Thank you. There you go. Very good. Nice. We'll fix that later. All right. We have a Chiefs rant, but it's got a little bit of a twist to it. So with that, we're going to start it off like we always do. Here is the beginning of the Chiefs rant.
General quarters, all hands man your battle stations. Set material conditions Zebra throughout the ship. Make Zebra report to DC Central.
Because the chief says so.
Chiefs rant, take one.
Hey, good morning, everybody. This is the chief. My 3 minutes of fame is now 2 minutes and 58 seconds. But we got something extra special today. Our good friend down in Florida.
Look at the right camera.
I'm
Didn't I
going
teach you last week?
I'm going to turn over my Chiefs rant to my good friend down in Florida, Mr. Ronald.
And what is he going to talk about?
He's going to talk about wrestling.
No, I thought he was going to. I thought he was going to show us how to make a quiche. Of course, he's going to talk about wrestling.
Hey, this is my 3 minutes. Don't interrupt, jabroni. Just sit there.
Go, Ronald.
Mr. Ronald, you're up, sir.
All right, so April 22nd and 23rd, there's going to be a toy show over in Tampa at the State Fairgrounds. There will be live wrestling. Thunder Championship Wrestling will be there. Wrestling starts at noon. I know I talked to William Hudson, and he's going to try and make it. And then our next event after that is going to be May 12th in Winter Haven, Florida. They will be having a battle royal to crown the first ever Thunder Championship heavyweight champion that night at the event. And it's going to be exciting. It's always exciting when Thunder Championship puts on a show. You never know what's going to happen. You never know who's going to show up. I mean, it's always an exciting time. I'm proud to be part of them, working with them.
What do you do for them? Ronald, what do you do for them?
Well, I help set up the entranceway, and then I help out with setting up the audio and the video that we watch backstage, and ring the bell.
Okay.
And I just got my daughter to start helping me run the fog machine when we run the fog machine.
Hi, Sahara in the background there. Sahara's in the background. Anyway.
Yeah, you can't see her. She's spit down on her phone or something.
Oh, there she is. All right. So you have some matches that you can announce. Who's the champions down there? Give some names.
We don't have any champions in Thunder Championship Wrestling right now. Not until May 12th. But we do have some of the guys that do come in. They do wrestle at other professions, and some of them are champions over there in the other promotions that they go to.
Let me say this to help out, Ron. Real good friend, gentleman, my cohort in crime over here, who's reading these phones, and myself have known Gary Galaxy for years out here in Las Vegas.
I called his final matchup here at BVW.
Yeah, Gary is down in the Tampa area. That's how Ron and I got hooked up, and Gary does a lot of the backstage production for the company. So shout out to my man. When you see him, Ron, slap him on the back of the head. Tell him it's from the Chief. He'll appreciate it. Probably he'll kick you in the balls or something. Who the hell knows? But no, fans, great guy.
Thomas says he went.
Yes, he is. He is a fantastic guy. He's the one that's been teaching me how to run the sound and stuff. That way, in case he's not there, I can step in and fill in for him.
There you go.
Good morning, Jennifer, out in Hawaii. She's at school working.
Good morning, Jennifer.
Thank you for tuning in, Jennifer, as always.
All right, so I'm going to take it back, and I'm going to say that's the Chief over and out.
There you go. Good job. Thank you for sharing with us. You talk about it in the chat room, Ronald, but as Chief said, we know Gary. He is a great guy. So how long has the promotion been up and running down there? Roughly. Couple of years?
I say at least I've been back down here about 3 or 4 years now, so at least 4 years.
Okay. Right on. If he ever needs us in any way, shape, or form, if he needs any voiceover work or he wants us to do some commentary over a match that you guys want to promote, we can do that for you guys. Anything we could do to help you and Gary with that promotion, we'd love to do it for you. So just let him know that, please, that we're here to support you guys.
Oh, yeah. I'm just waiting for when we could go back to somewhere bigger. We could start having guests come back in.
Well,
that's what I'm waiting for.
Is it, did you guys, obviously because of the pandemic, things had to shift down and notch back down?
Well, we were going, they were doing the shows at the high schools.
Right.
And then with the pandemic, it backed everything down. And then we started going to, it's called Tanner's Lakeside, which is a restaurant. And they have an outside area where they do live music and stuff. That's where we usually have the event at. So.
Okay. Due time. Everybody's got to start crawling before we start walking and running again. So, all right.
Yep.
I was going to go to break. What you got?
Go ahead. Go to break.
Write it down what you were going to say.
I got
okay.
it. I already wrote it down.
We're going to go to our second break of the hour. We have Ronald Young joining us out in Florida. He is our guest co-host filling in for everybody that's not here. We're happy to have him here.
Bruno San Martino.
I'd love to have Bruno in here, but he's not here. That's Chief. I'm Aaron. We got more to come in the first hour. We will be back right after this.
Thoughts count anywhere. Y'all watching it. This is my new tag team partner, Steve-O, a.k.a. Zeus, from the hit movie Friday and from No Holds Barred.
Hello, this is Martin Casals, a.k.a. Marty the Mob, and you're watching the Thoughts Count Anywhere podcast. Enjoy.
What's up, man? It's your boy, Stephen Fatu. I'm here with my man, Big Chief. I need you to check out the podcast, Thoughts Count Anywhere.
This is Impact Wrestling's Dashing Chris Bay, the ultimate finesser, former Finesse Division champion, and you're listening to Thoughts Count Anywhere podcast.
Hi, I'm Sean Navari. Listen to Thoughts Count Anywhere for all your wrestling news.
It's not the worst podcast ever, is it? It's the best podcast. Thoughts Count Anywhere. All your wrestling news, all your hobbit all your gimmickry. Go on over, listen wherever your podcasts are downloaded. The Thoughts Count Anywhere podcast. I'm the big LG Doc Ellis. That's my endorsement. Booyah!
This is the Essential Character EC3 on behalf of my dear friends at Thoughts Count Anywhere. The podcast for your mind when you need deep thinking about all things sports and entertainment.
Hey, what's going on? This is Axe, and I'm smashing the demolition.
Hey, we want to invite you to watch every Saturday morning Thoughts Count Anywhere.
Hey guys, it's Tessa Blanchard and Ozzy, and you're watching Thoughts Count Anywhere.
All right, welcome back to Thoughts Count Anywhere, coming to you from the WWDB studios, WWDBTV studios. I saw Ozzy and Tessa, and I just lost everything.
My boy Ozzy.
702-992-3207. Give us a call, say hello, ask Ronald a question, except for you, Thomas Burnett, because if you call in and yell at him, you will be fired. But let us know your thoughts on WrestleMania, whatever you want to talk to. NXT is tonight. Yes, sir.
You don't do it. 702-992-3207.
That's supposed to say it fast. People
is the phone number. Anyway,
NXT's on right now.
Okay. Anyway, I want to do a shout out. I saw William Hudson in here this morning. Good morning, sir.
Yes.
Will Hudson, Ben Bowman, and the rest of the admin crew from Top Rope Collectible will be at Square Circle
Squirrel? Were you going to say squirrel? I caught you. You were going to say.
Shut up. In Squared Circle Expo in Indianapolis, Indiana, Friday, April 7th, Saturday, April 8th. Go out and see them, folks. They'll have good merch. They're going to have the
Certifier PSA.
Who they have?
They're going to have Demolition and Powers of Pain.
Signing autographs. So go out and see them, support them. They're great people. That's the Chiefs rant, over and out.
Yes, y'all guys have a safe trip up there too.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, tell Demolition that the guys from Thoughts Count Anywhere in Vegas say hello. We had them on our show about a year ago. Great guys too.
They are real good guys. There's a group that needs to go into the Hall of Fame
for sure.
But you know who else?
With D'Lo
Brown. My
That's
man
right.
D-Lo.
Yep.
We need to start a campaign. Hashtag D-Lo Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Hashtag Demolition Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Something. We got to get these guys
Yep.
in there. All right.
All right.
A couple other WWE reports before we go to the top of the hour. Big E says he isn't medically cleared to return to the ring. Gentlemen, I unfortunately believe that he will never set foot in the ring again.
I said to Matt last weekend, I think Big E's career is over. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I hope, though, in some capacity, could he be a manager for Kofi and his tag partner?
Xavier.
Possibly. Could he do some training down at the NXT
Center.
The Performance Center?
Right.
There's got to be something. The man's too talented and has too much of a personality, a huge personality, for him not to be affiliated in some capacity with wrestling.
Because he has that personality, I wouldn't mind seeing him on commentary as a color commentator. To be honest with you. I mean, why not start him in NXT and see what he does?
Better than what they got now.
You said it, I didn't. That's why I put it out. I teed it up for you, Chief. In his interview this week, he did say that, fortunately, the bone in his spine that got injured was not injured to the point that paralyzed him. He can still live, walk, and take care of his family, do all of that. It's just, and I hope I'm saying the word correctly. The word he used was ossified for the bone to be able to basically fuse back together and get the ligaments and everything to support it. That is not there yet at all, or far enough for them to even think about him getting back into the ring. And this is a year. What's it? A year almost? It's about a year when he got injured.
I think it's been over a year.
Has it been over a year? A little bit over, but it's around that 12-month mark.
Yeah.
So I agree. He's got to somehow be, and I don't want to see him in a Titus O'Neil ambassador kind of role. He needs that personality to stay on TV. Maybe him try him out as a backstage reporter with his personality and in fun segments, whatever it is. But he does need to stay involved somehow. I don't know if I would. They'd have to sell me pretty good to see him as a quote unquote manager or handler for Xavier and Kofi. That I don't maybe be out there as a support for them, but I can't say. But managing somebody, absolutely a strong baby face that needs somebody like that, I think so. That's not a bad idea.
Ossify refers to becoming inflexible, conventional, and resistant to change.
So his bones need that structure in order to not hurt himself again.
Quick throw in.
Yep.
It's a shame that he can't get a hold of Jack Eichel with the Vegas Golden Knights and see what kind of neck surgery he had.
Right.
Maybe that would help him out, possibly. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
Could be. All right.
Where we want to go?
Well, let's go to the last WWE report item. Roxanne Perez has been cleared for NXT Stand and Deliver today and will be defending her championship. It's Ron at Chris Dyer. You have a message up there, Ronald, from Chris Dyer?
No. I responded to Chris Dyer, who said,
I'm sorry. Okay.
Some feedback, some spillover from their microphone.
Gotcha.
It's Ronald.
Gotcha. Okay. Oh,
okay.
We can hear some of the noise from the back.
Yeah, Ronald, you have some music or something going on? We'd have to. Yeah, that's what people are hearing. There you go. All right, you can mute whatever you're watching. If you're watching NXT Stand and Deliver, you can mute.
I am.
Okay, perfect. All right. So Roxanne Perez, she's back in the ring tonight. Was it a work from the time she went out? Was it something to just give her a little breather before tonight? What do you think, Chief?
A young female wrestler being pushed real heavy by Shawn Michaels. If it was a work, it was a good work. Well, I'll say that it was a good work.
Mm-hmm.
I think personally, I think she just needed a little bit of time off, and as we all do. Chiefs on vacation all the time. So anyway, no, I'm glad to see she's coming back. She's defending her belt.
Yeah.
I hope she defends it and keeps it, because I think she's definitely Shawn Michaels' girl right now.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
Let's see where it goes.
So, Stand and Deliver, has the official show started yet?
Yes.
So they've already had some matches. So without giving any winners,
At least one match.
Okay, so let's do this.
Let's
just tell me what matches have already aired. I don't want winners, so that this way we can cross them off and not necessarily talk about them at this point. You got to get that music turned down, because Chris Dyer on YouTube is killing you with his messages, by the way. So just tell us what matches have already aired.
The only match that's aired so far was Chase U with Tyler Bate versus Schism.
All right, what's the next match up? Did they mention that yet?
Not yet.
Okay. All right. Well, obviously Thomas is watching it also, because he's putting it in there. So, do you want to quickly give some predictions on that before break, or do you want to?
Let's go. Let's do our predictions
real quickly. Let's start at the bottom of our list. NXT Tag Championship: Gallus versus the Creed Brothers versus Channing Lorenzo and Tony D'Angelo. Who's your winner, Ronald? Just pick a winner.
I'm going to say the brothers.
The Creed Brothers?
Yeah.
Okay, Chief?
I'm going with Lorenzo and D'Angelo.
Okay. I'll take the champs Gallus, just because he'll spread it across the board. That's all. NXT North American Championship: Wesley versus Dragon Lee versus Axiom versus Dragunov versus JD McDonough. My God, how many people are in this match?
That's the take my money match right there.
Okay. What do you think? No dead
Man, some way I want to see Wesley keep it, but I don't think he will. I think it'll go to either Dragon Lee or Axiom.
That's not how we make predictions. You got to give me one winner, not multiple choice winners.
Wesley is going to win it.
Wesley?
Yeah.
Wesley's going to retain
I think he's going to retain it, yeah.
I'm taking Dragon Lee. Chief?
I'm going with JD McDonough.
Okay. Thomas is saying Dragon Lee, and he also put Gallus in for his pick on the other match. NXT Women's
Nobody cares.
Thomas, you need to spell check when you spell jabroni, by the way. NXT Women's Tag Team Championship: Fallon Henley and Kiana James versus Albert Fire and Isla?
Isla Dawn.
Isla Dawn. Ronald.
I think Ira Dawn and Fire are going to win it.
Okay, Chief.
Fire and Dawn.
Sounds like Tony Orlando and Dawn. I'm going to take the champs to retain. Grayson Waller versus Johnny Gargano in an unsanctioned match. And this was spurned because it wasn't Grayson Waller going at it with Shawn Michaels for a while?
Yes.
Right?
So, yes. Much so.
So I'm going to pick Grayson Waller only because Gargano being part of the main roster, if he wins, what does that do to him for NXT? It does nothing. What would it do for Waller if he does lose in NXT? So I'm going to take Grayson Waller in that one.
I'm going to say Johnny Gargano because when Johnny left NXT, Grayson Waller's the one that put him out on the announce table and left him. So I think Johnny's going to get his payback today.
Okay. Chief?
I think Gargano's going to win it. And the reason being, he's going to put Waller over, and Waller's going up to the main roster.
Okay. Ronald Thomas says he doesn't see you writing these down.
Because the Chiefs writing them down.
There you go.
I got my.
I don't have my usual setup with me because I'm not home, so I don't have my usual book.
Oh, okay.
It's all good.
So I just got one sheet of paper with my WrestleMania picks on it.
All right, there
it's
you
all
go.
Good, brother. Chief's got it covered for you. Don't worry about
Roxanne Perez versus Gigi Dolan, India Hartwell, Lyra Valkyrie, Tiffany Stratton, Zoe Stark, NXT Women's Championship. Let's give us 10 more women in this match. What the hell's going on? Go.
So at this one, Tuesday night, when Roxanne Perez came back, she told Shawn Michaels that the reason what happened to her was her body was fatigued and that she was battling anxiety. And I think she's going to overcome it and remain champ.
Okay. So we have he was coming over, I thought, to talk to you. So he's picked Roxanne. Who's your pick?
I hope finally Zoe Stark gets to put a belt on, a singles belt. So I'm going with Zoe Stark.
And I'm going to go with Zoe Stark as well. Braun Breaker versus Carmelo Hayes for the NXT Championship. Ronald.
I've got to go Braun Breaker.
Okay. You got Braun.
Carmelo Hayes. Breaker's going to the main roster.
I agree with that. I think Braun is going to make it up that Monday After Raw show. So I'm also going to select Carmelo Hayes. So, all right. And also in the chat room, Thomas has been putting his answers, which we appreciate. Hopefully we'll get Matt's predictions along the line if he doesn't if he's not able to video in. With that, that's the end of hour number 1.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Time flies. You betcha. With that, hour number 2 is coming up on the other side. We're going to talk about our WrestleMania Night 1 predictions.
That was the kickoff show?
I turned that mute, but you can't do that. No. We'll be back. I got to give him education. You realize this is food for fire for Thomas, you realize that. We'll be back.
Oh, I know.
We'll be back.
Thoughts Count Anywhere. Y'all watching it. These are my new tag team partners, Steve-O, a.k.a. Zeus, from the hit movie Friday, and from No Holds Barred.
Hello, this is Martin Casals, a.k.a. Marty the Mod, and you're watching the Thoughts Count Anywhere podcast. Enjoy.
What's up, man? It's your boy, Seven Fatu. I'm here with my man, Big Chief. I need you to check out the podcast, Thoughts Count Anywhere.
This is Impact Wrestling's Dashing Chris Bay, the ultimate finesser, former Finesse Division champion, and you're listening to Thoughts Count Anywhere podcast.
Hi, I'm Sean Navari. Listen to Thoughts Count Anywhere for all your wrestling news.
It's not the worst podcast ever, is it? It's the best podcast. Thoughts Count Anywhere. All your wrestling news, all your hobbit all your gimmickry. Go on over, listen wherever your podcasts are downloaded. The Thoughts Count Anywhere podcast. I'm the big LG Doc Ellis. That's my endorsement. Booyah!
This is the essential character EC3 on behalf of my dear friends and Thoughts Count Anywhere. The podcast for your mind when you need deep thinking about all things sports and entertainment.
Hey, what's going on? This is Axe, and I'm smashing the demolition.
Hey, we want to invite you to watch every Saturday morning, Thoughts Count Anywhere.
Hey guys, it's Tessa Blanchard and Ozzy, and you're watching Thoughts Count Anywhere.
All right, welcome back to Thoughts Count Anywhere. Hour number 2 is underway. That's right. That is Chief. I am Aaron, coming to us from Florida, Mr. Ronald Young. Thomas is unavailable today, although he is in the chat room. And, of course, Matt Mullen, our good friend and one of the co-founders of the show, is out in L.A. at SoFi for the weekend.
Hey, he's having fun.
Absolutely. He's great. I gave him a couple of dollars to, grab me a WrestleMania hat. So he calls me yesterday, mid-afternoon, and he's online at one of the stores there to buy stuff. To tell you, he says, here, this is what's here. What kind of shirt do you want? You want it no, I want tradition, man. I want WrestleMania. And
did you get a hat?
I told him I want a hat and a T-shirt.
Hopefully you got the hat with the patch on the side.
I'll trust him.
That is freaking awesome.
And I'm sure they'll be available for $99.99 on the WWE Network. $30 hat for $1,000.
And in a month they'll be on sale.
Right, exactly.
That's why I'm.
Well, you know what? tonight and tomorrow, as they do with all their
35%.
They always do the discounts.
She's on top of these.
That's how I've gotten my belts. Don't tell my wife.
Chief is. You still got that shelf in the garage?
I put more up because I keep getting more and more stuff.
He's got a shelf in the garage, Ron. And hopefully his wife's
not. No, she's not. She's at school today too.
He puts all the stuff on top of the shelf, pushes it back so she can't see it because she's short.
You can't even see the shelf.
She's short. True story. I'm telling you the truth.
1,000,000%. Or I always try to get home and get the mail and stuff before she gets home. So like when I order stuff from TRC,
I know
he sends me and I'm following it. Thank God, 99% of the time it comes in. I can get it before my wife gets home. But by the way, I got the items I purchased this past week. I got the Kane signed.
Okay,
figure, and the Beth Phoenix signature.
Right.
So It must have been Thursday or something. And I saw my notification, DHL's dropping a box off. All right, fine. I figure I'll be, no. Because I after school, I got home. I had 30 minutes. I came here to the studio to do the roundtable.
Right.
I get home, in the middle of my living room floor says box. And the box they used to ship it was the box you would buy the different types of snack bags, the chips in it. And I looked I said to my wife, because I thought maybe she bought a box of snacks. I said, what's that on the floor? She goes, I don't know. It came to you. What did you buy now?
So she
saw that one. So I said, honey, nothing. I'll talk to you later.
You couldn't get over, could you?
No, but since I hope William's still listening, because he'll get a kick out of this.
Have
so,
you
what?
My wife's not in.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. So no, that's why I watch. When you think I'm looking down, I'm actually looking at the chat room.
Hey, when my wife comes in, I've got to be.
He's got to tone it down.
I got to be on the QT.
So I told my wife
on the down low.
She asked me, she says, what did you buy now? I said, no, I didn't buy anything. I said, these are some friends with one of the wrestling groups that sent me some gifts. So, William, I just had to use that as a cover.
This on tape,
I know you do.
so don't fuck with me.
I'm screwed. That means anytime he needs the internet bill paid, I'm going to be paying the internet bill.
I know
I'm
nothing.
gonna wait till it's $533.
I know nothing.
Anyway, on with the show. All right, let's talk about Ring of Honor.
You know what? I got nothing.
You got nothing?
I got nothing coming in, man.
No, you got for shipping?
No, I got nothing.
All right, you're good.
And hey, you guys can have it sent to the studio.
Oh.
No.
Thank you. But then how do I get it in my house when I get home? She's already home. Oh, that shelf in the garage I hit before I go in the house.
John, I don't have a chance because Liz pays everything by PayPal for me. So she knows everything that's
She knows what's going on.
Yeah, she knows.
She's got your chore money.
Oh,
your
yeah.
allowance.
Still got that much stuff.
Yes.
She.
All right, Ring of Honor Supercard. First match was Claudio Castagnoli, or as I still call him, Cesaro versus Eddie Kingston for the ROH World Championship. Chief, the results.
Claudio Castagnoli was the winner in that match.
Okay. Ronald, did you watch any of these matches at all?
I did not.
All right. And I know, Thomas, if you did, Thomas, please chime in with your thoughts on this. So Cesaro, Claudio maintained and retained his title.
He retained his title against Eddie Kingston.
Which was probably a tremendous match.
I would assume so, with Eddie leaving the main roster of AEW to go to ROH.
Yes.
I would hope that Thomas says he's unprepared.
No, he's talking about Ronald not having watched the Supercard.
Well, I didn't watch it either. So are you saying I'm unprepared or what?
I didn't watch it either. That's why I'm relying on Chief.
What are you saying, Thomas? Huh? What are you saying? Stay in your lane. Okay. Anyway, next matchup: Wheeler Yuta versus Shibata for the ROH Pure Championship.
Pure.
Is there
pure?
Pure.
I don't know what do you know what championship the Pure Championship is? Is that just a new belt that they come up with or something?
Well, the rules in that one are a lot different than regular rules. You got so many rope breaks. You can't hit in the face, or you get deducted points or something like that.
An old school match.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now you're refreshing my mind. I remember when Jeff Cobb held that belt, and then the other Olympian that's wrestling AEW now, Josh Woods, held that belt. So
Thomas said after the match, Wheeler came out to try to attack Eddie, but Shibata came back out to even the odds.
Okay.
So now looks like we'll see more of that moving forward.
So anyway, Shibata won the match and has retained his title and still is the ROH Pure Championship. But after the match, Shibata tried to shake hands with Wheeler Yuta, and Yuta just turned his back and walked out of the ring. So
that's poor sportsmanship.
Exactly. And I think with the Pure Championship, it's all about the rules. If I'm not,
Right.
Go ahead, Ron.
Yes, you're correct. But you got to stop and think too. Wheeler Yuta is part of the Blackpool Combat Club, and they've been very vicious lately. So,
and we saw that this past week with the return of Daniel Bryan when he came back after his match with MJF. That they kind of notched things up a few with the return of Daniel and getting a little more on the dark side.
How do you guys feel about Daniel kind of turning? Does I guess the question I'm asking, does he make a good heel?
I kind of like it, to be honest with you. I've seen him as a good guy or as a baby for so long that it's actually refreshing to see him as a heel.
Well, remember, he was kind of a heel when he had the when he changed the belt to the Earth.
Yep.
We saw him play like a heel when he joined Bray Wyatt and company for a short time before he turned on Bray Wyatt, which was the plan. I think, though, in this role with the Combat Club and the huge match he had with MJF, pairing with Moxley when they started with William Regal, I think this type of heel turn in this makeup, in terms of, I think it's going to be some of his best work.
Yeah.
My thought is eventually what's going to happen, and this is, again, my thought. It's going to be Castagnoli against Bryan Danielson in an ROH ring for the ROH championship. Okay. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to think of the gentleman who used to be a champion at ROH and a ring announcer for ROH that just came back to ROH. And I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
Nigel McGuinness.
Thank you.
Oh, I just saw that this morning. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Thomas shares with us that the Pure Championship you get 3 rope breaks. You're allowed 1 punch. And if you throw a punch a second time, you're disqualified. So those are some of the rules in that pure championship match.
It's a wrestling match.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's not catch as catch can.
No,
it's
absolutely.
a real wrestling match.
Next match, Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Daniel Garcia.
Damn, Thomas, he got it right. Tanahashi. How about that, huh? We were laughing about that if he was going to get it right or not. Anyway, Mr. Tanahashi beat Daniel Garcia in that match. Evidently, he stretched him out a little bit, I guess you could say.
AR Fox, Blake Christian, and Metalik versus Brian Cage, Toa, and Khan. And Brian Cage's contract with AEW is supposedly up, and it's not re-signed with ROH. So he'll be a free agent, it looks like. Who won that match?
Embassy.
All right.
That would be Brian Cage, Toa, and Mr. Khan.
Blake.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think we saw Toa out here last weekend. Thomas, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think, was it Mr. Toa at FSW Mecca last week, sir?
Now, the fact that Embassy, Brian Cage and company, the Embassy won, that's probably a good sign that Cage is probably going to either should resign, right, with ROH in this capacity, right? Probably won't hit the free agent market. Wow. Yes.
If you're asking me,
I'm just making the comment.
I have to be honest with you.
Yeah. Please.
Okay.
Of course you are.
I don't care.
Okay.
I
did interview him at UWW though.
Good.
That was pretty good when we were there the first time.
Good for you.
That was
good for you.
Tag team ladder match.
That's how I really feel.
That's fine. Tag team ladder match. Who was in that one and who was the victor?
Okay, we have the Lucha Brothers. I mean, I got to put the cheaters on. Hold on. The Lucha Brothers against Aussie Open versus the Kingdom versus Top Flight versus LFI. And the winners, drum roll, Lucha Brothers.
Okay. I don't think that was really a surprise that they would win.
No.
Right? I mean, but what is it? What is with all these matches having 20 people in a match?
They're trying
in both NXT and
no. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Okay, I think AEW's trying to get the wrestlers on TV. Okay, it's another avenue with them with an ROH show like that, and So I applaud it. Same thing with NXT.
Right.
We always talk about that. Where's Shinsuke Nakamura?
Oh, we'll talk about that one in a
I know,
second, too.
I know, and that's one of our boys that we like out here, Ron. Just so you know, we like him, and but they've got so many wrestlers signed,
right,
and they have limited space that they can only put so many wrestlers on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to give you an example of something. If I can digress for a minute. You like that, digress?
Wow.
Okay. If I can
That's
digress.
only 2 syllables.
I'm going to digress for a minute,
That's
Ronald.
one of your lower syllabic words you've given us.
When I
There was a plethora of syllables.
they're using all my words, man. I look them up. I look them up in my Funkin' Wagnall. But
God.
whatever. Anyway, I went to SmackDown a week ago, and you talk about putting wrestlers on TV and seeing more wrestlers on TV and more matches. And I was sitting up in the stands with Thomas and Brandy. Mm-hmm. We went to the show together.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have a match of Cody Rhodes and the guy from Imperium, and it goes 30 minutes.
Yeah, you talked about that.
What the hell kind of match is that for 30 minutes?
Right.
Excuse my language. I apologize. That could have been, and I'm being honest, that could have been a 15-minute match. They could have had a 2-minute commercial break. They could have put another 2 wrestlers or 4 wrestlers in the ring with another match. That's all I'm saying. Over and out.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. We'll say, go ahead. You had a point there, Ronald?
That goes back to the going to independent shows. You get more wrestling than you do anything else.
Right.
That's another reason why to get out there and support the indies.
Thank you, sir.
So I read 2 articles this week. Early in the week, they talked about Shinsuke, where Triple H has huge plans to start pushing Shinsuke again after WrestleMania.
You got to put some glue on your teeth,
know,
buddy.
It's catchy.
Yeah. That's why I don't have mine in.
Then a couple of days later, it might even have been yesterday, where I read that now the talk of Shinsuke's push is being tabled again. So early in the week, they were going to push him. As of yesterday, the article said that's now been put on the back burner. So something's going on. I don't know how much time he has left on his contract. I think he's 39. I read in a recent article, which is not necessarily old by any stretch in the wrestling world, especially when you don't wrestle for 6 months. It's, your body's not getting the wear and tear. But he's one of those guys that gets lost in the shuffle. And what he can do with his ability and the crowd, the way they get behind him, I'm sorry, but this is another example of how WWE drops the ball on an international talent. We talk about Rey Mysterio and the Lucha brand and all that other stuff. I'm sorry, but Shinsuke Nakamura represents some of the best from overseas, for crying out loud. And yet they put him in these storylines that really scratch your head and wonder why. And then they fade him off and he's nothing but barely a footmark, which is unfortunate for a guy like him. So
you're right.
Absolutely.
All right, let's cover the last couple of topics before we go to our last break of the show, basically. El Hijo del Vikingo versus Commander. Gentlemen, who was the winner of that?
The first guy.
Because it's easier to say.
I got him.
God. No, El
Hijo del Viking.
Del Vikingo.
Vikingo.
Now I know that's going to obviously Vikingo is probably Viking, but I don't remember what the rest would translate into. But
right.
Anyway, okay, so he won. So we'll flip the page to the last match of the night. Samoa Joe versus Mark Briscoe for the ROH TV title. This was a match I believe he was doing in honor for his brother. Is that correct? His brothers.
He was from Mark.
Part of that. I know the answer to this, but Chief, go ahead. Who won this match?
Samoa Joe.
Okay.
Samoa Joe won it, and
it was a hard-fought battle, of course.
Hard-fought battle, but in the long run, when K-Fab's gone, Joe and Mark are great friends, and So I'm sure they put on one hell of a battle last night in this match. And, the champ won and retained. So now here's the interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
I read Mark Briscoe is going to go on and become, of course, a singles wrestler now, and he's gone after MJF's title. Thoughts?
Ooh, I would love to see that match. I think Mark could take competing for that title.
If you want to, I think if you want to honor the Briscoes in a higher platform, even though they originated in ROH, that's where they were mainstays there for a long time. I think doing something through AEW in a match and even winning the title at some point, I think would give a better nod to his brother. Winning the single, AEW World Heavyweight title in honor of his brother and everything. Not a knock on Samoa Joe by any means, not a knock on ROH, but which is the bigger platform that's more recognizable right now for a guy like Mark to win a title and do it in honor of his brother. Just a quick thought on that. So, but I agree. It should be a hell of a match between those two. I mean, MJF certainly proved his worth for an hour and a couple of minutes going at it with Bryan Danielson. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
I want to go back, and I couldn't find Nakamura's contract expiration. So but here's what I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about Nakamura, right? We haven't seen AJ Styles in a while.
He's hurt though. He hurt his ankle.
Okay.
Yeah, he hurt his ankle. So
okay, okay, I stand.
Although he should be on the verge of returning, I would think.
Muro with AEW.
Oh, that's been a story for a year.
You don't see him. Great wrestler.
They went to him with the storyline that he turned down, by the way. So again, this was about 6-8 months ago. They went to him with something and he turned it down because he felt it was a storyline that was not going to benefit him in any way.
Well, and I've said this, and Ron, you can chime in if you want, but I've always said this, that in the sheets, what do we believe and what don't we believe to be truth?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I would think that in your contract, you would have certain things you can say no, certain things you can say yes.
Except for the fact as independent contractors, they can turn down work. Right.
Let me finish.
Okay.
Please.
Yeah,
Let me finish.
Yeah.
As we know, a friend of ours who will remain nameless had a stupid ass gimmick thought up by Vince McMahon.
Yep.
Oh my God.
And that's why I'm wearing my WWE creative shirt today. And my thought is that when something like that does the independent contractor really have the right to say yes or no? And if they do or they don't, well, is that why they're shelved for 6 or 7 months at a time or a year at a time? And you don't see them on TV is because they have said no and the company thinks it's a good idea. Just my thought.
That unnamed source would probably be the best person to answer some of those type of questions. I'm not saying we do. I'm just saying because this individual is obviously in the mix. But again, under the theory of what an independent contractor is supposed to be, okay, they're not hired by the company as a W-2 employee.
I get all that.
So now, is it retribution to somebody who says, no, I don't like that gimmick, so we're going to put you in catering for 6 months? I totally buy that. I totally buy that. That could be one of the reasons we don't see people for a while.
Or they're let go from their job, or I just there's so much written out there that is it true? Is it not true?
Well, if everything was written one way or the other, we wouldn't have a show like ours to talk about.
Well, and you know what? You're absolutely right.
Right, absolutely. You're absolutely
Your
point
right.
is absolutely right. We don't know.
No.
There's another guy that we haven't seen in AEW TV too.
Who's that?
And he was actually at the Hall of Fame ceremony last night with his wife.
Who's that?
Andrade. Andrade hasn't been on TV for a while. There was that spat between him and Sammy Guevara, and he hasn't been on AEW TV since.
Well, yes, I have my thoughts on Sammy Guevara, and I'll keep them to myself. I try to keep it as a family show as much as I can.
This isn't in the chat room.
And Sammy Guevara is a piece of shit. Okay. I hear he's a cancer backstage, and maybe some of somebody else rubbed off on him, so to speak.
Oh, he didn't punk anybody out, did he?
No. And Jericho's trying to headlock him a little bit and calm him down, and trying to keep him on television. I just look at there's a lot of quality, and this is just. Again, my thought, there's a lot of quality wrestlers that are behind the scenes that we're not seeing that should be utilized.
Thomas puts in the chat room, Miro probably isn't even going to TV at this time. Andrade has been injured, which is why we haven't seen him. And then he says, one last shot at Ronald before we go to break. Thomas says, Ronald does no research at all. With that, we're going to step aside for our break of the second hour. I'll let you stew on that for a reply when we come back. Obviously, something good is going on at NXT Stand and Deliver. But TCA, we're going to get into WrestleMania predictions on the other side of the break. We'll be right back.
D'Lo Brown, if you want to be part of one of the greatest podcasts on the world, Thoughts Count Anywhere, every Saturday, 9 to 11 Pacific. Now recognize that. Hey, everybody, Aaron Phillips, and I'm standing with Anthony Miller. Hey, I have a quick question for you. What's the name of your favorite wrestling show? Thoughts Count Anywhere. What a convenience. Saturday, 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific. If this guy watches it, better watch it also on Facebook.
Hi, everybody. Aaron Phillips here, inviting you to join me every Saturday from 12 to 1 p.m. right here on Worldwide Digital Broadcasting TV on my show, Aaron's Hour with Aaron Phillips. I bring to you the movers and shakers of Las Vegas and really all around the world. It's also fun, entertaining, silly, goofy, informative, everything you'd want to be entertained by on a Saturday, except no politics, no religion. As I said, it's designed to be a fun show. Remember, that's every Saturday from 12 to 1 p.m. Pacific, right here, Aaron's Hour, Worldwide Digital Broadcasting TV.
Hey, welcome back to Thoughts Count Anywhere. That's Chief. That's Ronald from Florida. He is keeping an eye on NXT. We're not going to put out any spoilers right now. It's too early in the day. But obviously, when you hear his daughter in the background gasp at something and Ronald looks up, something good's going on. But what you can do, if you don't mind, in the private chat for you and I on Facebook and Messenger, if you want to send me some of the results, I will keep them private so that we are aware of what's going on as well. Would be fine. Okay.
You don't have to.
No, you don't have
if
to.
You don't want to.
But I would really.
Well, you may not be on the show again.
That's.
Well, I can't. I'm on my phone, so I can't. I don't have a laptop or anything.
That's
available.
So then, what you need to do as soon as we sign off, you better message me some of the results.
I will.
Okay.
Don't do it. Don't do it, man. Let him do it. The reason he wants him is because he's got another show to do at noontime. And so he ain't going to be home till about 2 o'clock. So don't send
Well, but
him.
I can Google it for
Well,
the
then
hour
Google
between.
it.
Well, no, but I'm my agent. He's got to prepare his client.
What am I, chop liver?
No.
Okay.
You're the chief.
Although Thomas Burnett just sent me Thomas Burnett just sent me the result of the match that involved a couple of the women, Indy Hartwell and whoever else was in that match. I don't know, 9,000 women.
Who won?
So I'm telling you now.
Oh,
I'll tell you on break. there. You can put your readers on. You can read that. All right, let's get to WrestleMania now. We have about 30 minutes left in the show.
Interesting.
And let's
Okay.
let's oh, was that so she got her comeuppance. All right. Well, we were all wrong with that selection.
None of us picked it.
Yeah, I know.
Wow. Okay.
All right, we suck.
My daughter actually said my daughter said that person was going to win it. So.
Oh my goodness! All right, let's get to WrestleMania now. We got 30 minutes to give our predictions, and we slip in some birthdays in between there as well.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do birthdays in between night 1 and night 2 predictions.
That would be
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to start at the bottom of the list and go up, even though I think the top match is going to open the show. Braun Strowman and Ricochet take on the Viking Raiders, Street Profits, Otis and Chad Gable. Is this for number 1 contenders match?
I think so. And there was 4 teams in that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Strowman and Ricochet,
okay.
Viking Raiders, Street Profits, and Otis and Chad.
Well,
I say Strowman and Ricochet are going to win.
Okay. Chief?
Don't go after Becky.
After last night, seeing the 4-way last night with Ricochet winning it, I would say you're absolutely correct. It's going to be Ricochet and Braun.
Okay. My thought on this is very simple. If this is a number 1 contenders match and Sammy and KO do happen to win tonight, I'm gonna say it would be the Viking Raiders again. I'm a traditionalist, heel versus face kind of opponents. If that doesn't matter, like we always talk about, then Strowman and Ricochet would make sense. But
you only get to pick one.
I'm about to get there. I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say the Viking Raiders will actually win to become number 1 contenders.
And
Thomas, that's what it's about.
I believe Thomas took Ricochet and Braun also.
Okay.
Okay, got it.
Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio. Gents?
I'm going last.
All right.
I'm going to say Ray.
Okay. I'm going to say Ray also. For reasons we talked about earlier. Chief? You wanted to go last. Now it came around quickly. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are Ray. I would say within the next year, Ray's going to retire.
Okay.
Is this the match where Ray puts Dominic over? Okay. I think it is, and therefore I'm going with Rey Mysterio
to win. But if you think he's putting Dominic over, why would he win then?
Because I said Ray's going to win.
Oh, okay. That's not the way I was going. Listen,
I know. I threw the curveball at you.
Curveball. I think I got hit in the head with it.
The slider.
Yeah.
Thank God it was a wiffle ball.
Yes. Nerf ball, please. Wiffle balls can hurt too. Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul.
Seth
Rollins.
All right, me too. I just can't put.
Where's Thomas? Thomas, what's your vote? Where you at?
Well, he's in there. He put Ray in there for that match.
I got it.
Then you swerved him completely because he said, "Wait, what?" So, Chief, Ronald, Aaron, he says Seth also. So we're going Seth across the board.
All right.
Right. Becky Lynch, Trish, and Lita versus Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky.
I've got to go with Lita, Trish, and Becky.
Okay. Chief?
You know what? The whole time this storyline's been going on, it's been Becky, Trish, and Lita getting over week after week after week. Okay. I'm going to go with Bayley, Dakota, and Io in this match tonight. Something's going to happen that we're not expecting. And that's who I'm going with.
All right. Thomas says Damage Control.
Okay.
There's been too much story out there about how there's a possibility, and this is one of those if you believe it or not kind of things.
Right.
Trish turning on Becky and just throwing this match in complete disarray. I'm going to say it's going to end in a DQ because Trish will turn.
A DQ, huh? And
get involved, and the match will get totally thrown out. And then this way, Trish can go after Becky. I don't see her going after Lita. But I think it's going to be a DQ. Trish will turn and just totally throw the match overboard.
So we got 1 DQ, 1 Becky, Trish and Lita, and 2 Dakota Kais.
Yes.
Okay, we're there.
Undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship. The Usos taking on KO and Sammy Mania or Zayna Mania. Ronald?
Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Okay.
That's right.
I think this is the night that we see the Usos lose the belts.
Thomas, I can't answer what causes the DQ, but I just think with Trish turning, something screwy is going to happen with Damage Control that I think is just going to become a scrum, and the referee is just going to throw it out. How's that? KO and Sammy for Thomas. You also said the same thing, Chief.
I did.
I'm going to go across the board. Let's make it unanimous. I, too, believe it is time for a change. Chief, Thomas, Ronald, and Aaron. SmackDown Women's Championship. Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley. Last time we saw these two go at it was under the dome, right? For what was it, the NXT title at the time, if I'm not mistaken, where really Charlotte Flair at the time made quick work, relatively speaking, of Rhea. So let's see what happens this go around. So Ronald, I'll start with you. Thomas,
I'm gonna say Charlotte. I was gonna say Charlotte's gonna keep it because then that keeps Rhea on Raw with Judgment Day.
Oh, wow.
Okay. All right. So Ronald says Rhea. Thomas said Rhea.
No. I feel.
I'm going with my girl.
Rhea?
Yep.
Okay. For no particular reason, because I do think Rhea Ripley's going to win, but my official pick, just for shits and giggles, will be Charlotte Flair, just to go against you jabronis.
Charlotte. Okay. Hey, listen, I'm okay with, and I had a real hard time with this match because I like both of them.
Absolutely.
But I think it's Rhea's time. And I'll stop clicking that. It'll just give Charlotte the chance to come back somewhere down the road and become a 15-time world champion.
Do you think ultimately she's going to break Rick's record? Not to go on a sidebar here, but I think it's a logical question. Thomas says if Rhea loses, this will hurt her momentum. Just FYI.
That's a good question.
Because at this point, we know Cena's not going to break it. He's not wrestling full time, and he can't. He shouldn't hold the belt if you're a champion. So I don't think Cena's going to break it. He's tied with him. But do you think Rick would want to see Charlotte beat his record, or does he have enough ego to say I would still want to hold the record?
No. I think. Well, we definitely know Rick understands the business,
right?
And I think if Charlotte. I think if it's Charlotte, I think Rick's okay. In fact, I think if any of them
break it, he'll accept it.
He'll accept it. Okay. It's like when when Andre passed it down to Hulk, and Hulk passed it down to Ultimate Warrior, so to speak.
Right. Hogan passing down to The Rock.
Rick,
but that's different, though. That's putting someone over in a one-time
It
match.
is, but it's still, it's still part of professional wrestling.
Sure, no, absolutely.
And I think Rick, I think Rick would be okay with it. I think Rick would be okay with it if Cena broke it. Okay, as close as Rick and Cena are,
right?
Staying out in the bars until 3 a.m. and stuff. I mean, some of those stories. So I think in that sense, I think Rick would be okay with it.
Thomas says that he also believes that Charlotte will break the record, and he believes that Rick will be fine with his daughter breaking the record.
Yeah.
All right, last match for night one, which rumor has been flipping as to whether the card will actually start with this match or end with it. And I know this is a match that Chief will probably stay in the bathroom for an extended period of time if it opens. Championship, U.S. Championship, Cena and Austin Theory. Ronald.
I'm going to go with Theory because there ain't no way John Cena's going to win the belt.
Okay. Chief?
You know what? I don't care.
I know you don't.
I don't care.
But you got to make a pick.
You know what? I'm going to play the devil's advocate. I'm going with Cena.
Okay. And why would that be?
for shits and giggles.
Oh, don't take my excuse.
Okay.
Thomas says he thinks he believes in Theory.
Come on. Common sense says Theory's going to win it to put himself over against Cena.
And passing the baton, like we were just talking about from Cena.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay. But I'm going to go with Cena.
Okay. It is in Hollywood where he does a lot of movies.
I'm going with Cena.
Okay. So Chief's going with Cena. I buy all the logic. I buy every reason why Cena could lose. I don't know what his standing is after WrestleMania in terms of availability to WWE if he does win it, because I don't want it to be Brock Lesnar. I don't ever want to see a champion ever again win a belt and only defend him once every 3 to 4 months. That's what I'm afraid would happen if Cena wins. I'd love to see him win for nostalgia. I mean, I would love to see him win, but I have to be in the corner and pick Theory on this one.
Okay, you're picking through.
Yeah.
Who Thomas pick?
He picked Theory also.
Theory.
He says Theory kicks off the show with a win.
Here's what I think. Somebody's going to come in and interfere on the match, and I wish I could see Ronald, but I can't.
That's all right.
That's okay.
He's still there.
Anyway, I think somebody's going to come in on this match between Cena and Theory.
And who would that be? Who do you think if there was just Logan Paul, because he wanted to wrestle Cena instead of Seth?
That could be.
Set something up for SummerSlam.
The one guy that keeps coming to the back of my mind, okay, that loves Cena is Mick Foley. And I know now. Here's another one. What about Bad Bunny?
Bobby Lashley.
Oh God.
Well, Lashley,
Okay.
Lashley wasn't
All right.
involved with that in a while. Yep. There you go.
That could be that. Hey, I never thought of. Great thought.
Yeah.
I like that.
And maybe that's how Lashley gets involved in WrestleMania, since he doesn't have an official match.
Or maybe they make it a 3-way.
I had a 3-way one.
Oh, shut up! I knew that was coming. So if they make it a 3-way with less than 10
If they
hours,
make it a 3-way,
how would they build it up all of a sudden? Unless
Lashley just does the run-in
at the very beginning before the match even starts.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd be fine with that.
And Lashley wins.
I'd be fine with that too. I just don't see Cena, unfortunately, walking out with the belt because of his schedule. He's not a full-time wrestler.
No, I know that.
But I like that idea.
Somebody had to pick Cena. I picked.
Well, no,
Cena.
we went across the board on a couple.
I picked Cena.
We all picked Rey Mysterio.
Sometimes I got to do things like this.
Okay,
That's
but
okay.
I like the idea though of Lashley coming out.
Hey,
at the
that's not a
beginning.
bad. You like that idea? I like that idea. Lashley.
Yeah.
Lashley does the run-in at the beginning of the match. Okay, interferes within the first minute or two.
I say he just comes out during introductions.
Triple H comes out over,
separates him or whatever, and then makes
over Adam Pearce. Just Adam Pearce is to the side. Triple H comes out and says, "This is now a 3-way." I like that. Something new for the fans.
Thomas put in there to my comment about part-time champion Roman is, and
Roman's
yes, he is
part-time
to a degree, but not on the level at all as to
Of what Brock was.
Plus, we also have to take into account with Roman, the guy's getting over leukemia.
Wait.
And he
Exactly.
your time every once in a while.
Wait.
Yes. Then I'm going to do birthdays.
For the last X amount of weeks, Roman Reigns has been on TV.
He's been on TV, but not defending.
Well,
but that's the point that I was making.
Oh,
And
okay.
Thomas.
Okay. At least Roman's on TV.
Correct.
There's a lot of times we didn't see Brock for a long time.
Right. Absolutely.
So, apples and oranges.
Plus, I'm going to, even if he's off TV for a couple of weeks or a month and you still reference him with all the bloodline stories, you know what? Give the guy a break. We're still recovering from leukemia. I don't care if it was a couple of years ago. That still takes a toll on your body.
You know, we talk about Roman and we talk about Jimmy and Jay and we talk about Sola. You know, the lost soul that we don't talk about, who's probably put them all over? Paul Heyman.
I think he gets his due, but obviously he's not mentioned as much because he's the advocate.
Heyman, but
he sells a story. You watch his face during a match. That's all you need to know. That's it. I love watch. Sometimes I forget about the match for the moment, and I just watch him.
Yep.
Ronald.
Sometimes his promos too.
Oh, dynamite stuff with what he does. His A&E. Oh no, it wasn't A&E. I went to the Peacock stuff and I found his interview. I saw his interview that he did, and let me tell you, it was a great interview that he did about his background. Paul,
go back on YouTube. Go back.
To look it up on.
Go back on YouTube and look up some of the old ECW.
Oh, I know they showed that a lot there too. Yeah.
Oh my God!
Listen, he's got a great mind for wrestling, and I'm glad.
Yes.
The last how many years that he's been back with WWE, that he's really approached this in a different manner in his role.
He's been given the creative freedom.
Yes.
Because somebody in their infinite wisdom trusts him.
Right. Stephanie was his big supporter when he came back.
Well, you know where Paul Heyman's from?
New York.
You know where Paul Heyman's from? Ronald?
If I'm not mistaken, I believe it. I know it's New York.
Was it?
He's from Scarsdale, New York.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Home of the former home of the New York Islanders for a while.
Scarsdale.
All right, with that, we're going to separate 1 and 2 nights. We're going to go to birthdays.
Happy birthday to you.
And if you're celebrating a birthday today, April 1st, and it wasn't an April Fool's joke, you will celebrate.
Next
Friday, which is April 7th.
Oh.
All right, for today, April 1st, no, I would never walk up to this guy and tell him his birthday was in April. So, Randy Orton today, Jess Sargent, and AC Jazz. Jack Evans, Scorpio Sky, Sawyer Fulton, Layla Milani, and Rick Fuller. April 3rd, Lance Storm. April 4th, Chelsea Green, Tigre Uno, Amir Jordan. April 5th, part of the original Samoan dynasty, Sika. DDP, Diamond Dallas Page himself, the aforementioned Charlotte Flair, Gerard Locke, John Tolos, Villano 4, and all right, if we had a chorus of boos, Dominic Mysterio. Hello, Elizabeth. Some Elizabeth Miller's in the chat room, Chief. Just give you a heads up.
What's up there, young lady?
I was going to say something.
I know. He hesitated. April 6th. Here is the man that I believe, and I think many believe, really started the Samoan dynasty, the Island dynasty, the High Chief himself, Peter Maivia. And Friday, April 7th, David Otunga, Draws, Sanjay Dutt, Anya, and Rosie. Happy birthday to all of you out there celebrating. A quick reminder, if you want us to announce your birthday, anniversary, special occasion, whatever you want, just go to the Thoughts Count Anywhere Show Facebook page, post it on there, and let us know what you'd like us to announce. Also a reminder, go to thoughtscountanywhere.com, click on the shop tab, catch all your TCA merchandise that's fit to be printed on a shirt, although we've had many great ideas, and unfortunately, we just can't put them all on shirts. Elizabeth says, I think BYP's mom, Laura's birthday is tomorrow. Do you know who that is? BYP?
Bodie Young Prodigy.
There you go. So there you go. Happy birthday.
Hey, happy birthday, Miss Laura. If you're watching us, happy birthday.
Absolutely, and many more. All right.
Hey, can I have a minute?
Sure.
It's serious.
We're down to about 13 minutes.
That's good.
Still to do night 2.
That's okay.
What you got?
I want to say,
go
from the bottom of my heart, April 5th.
Okay.
Happy Passover.
Thank you very much. I thank you for reminding. Yes, happy Passover. Passover starts this week. Seder night number 1, where we retell the story about how the Jews left the desert. But the stupid part is all the Jews are coming back to the desert here in Las Vegas. So go figure, 5,000 years, what goes around comes around. But yes, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And of course, the week from tomorrow is Easter Sunday, right?
It is, but I figured next Saturday I was going to do that.
But that's cool. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
See, I even wrote it down.
Did you write it down?
Yeah, I wrote it down.
You did. Happy Passover.
See
But
that?
you didn't write that on the brief.
Well, no, because I had my own paper.
Oh, I got you. All right, WrestleMania night number 2.
I'm important. They let me have a pad of paper.
That's right. Nobody.
I'm like Thomas.
Wow. You know, Ronald, I'm going to give you a credo, right? I'm going to give you right now a tip of the cap. You've been very good for the most part today, not taking any shots at him. Yeah, I mean, you have. You snuck a few in. He's been at you like a cat and mouse. That, sir, was well done on your part to save it. That's like a mic drop moment as far as I'm concerned.
That was a zinger.
Mhm.
So.
All right, let's get to it. Night number 2.
All right, let's go. What do we got?
We're going to start at the bottom and go up. Liv
All right.
Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Natalia and Shotzi versus Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, Sonya Deville, Chelsea Green, Mae Young, and
Fabulous Moolah.
Anybody else you want to throw in there? But Fatal is basically Fatal 4-way. Is this for number 1 contendership also for the tag titles on the ladies' side?
You know who I'd like to see in there?
Who?
Doudrop and Nia Jax.
You know what? That's
the big, and call them the big cheeks.
Cheeks, the whole cheek, nothing but the cheeks. So
yes,
cheek.
Yes.
All right,
that was pretty good.
That was great. I actually would like to see them as a team. They did show up on TV or in the Battle Royale.
Bear with me for a minute, Ronald. Our good friend Miss April Hahn.
Yes.
She was with Nia yesterday at WrestleCon.
Was she? I missed that video.
And I got
a picture too, right?
And I got to tell you something. Nia looked very, very stunning.
Good. You know what?
Yes.
Model. If you remember, she used to model. But yeah, I think is she unsafe? Is she this? Is she that? Look, none of us on this show or affiliated with the show have ever stepped in the ring with her to know that. Obviously, we know the broken nose, the man, the whole thing. Okay, but you know what? She's been at this a long time, and I wouldn't mind seeing her get another serious opportunity somewhere.
You know, I mean, I've been in a wrestling ring, but I was protected by Karrion Kross. So I was very safe.
You were very safe.
Yes.
All right. And if nothing else, Scarlett would be the distraction anyway.
I'm taking Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez.
All right. Ronald?
I am also going to take Liv and Raquel, who just got married to Braun Strowman a couple days ago.
That's right. I saw that.
Who did?
Repeat that.
Raquel and Braun got married a few days ago.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Thomas says he's picking Shayna and Ronda. There's nothing on the line in this match, and he thinks Ronald should have a match with Nia Jax. So take that for what it's worth.
Who are you taking?
I'm not scared.
I am going. Boy, I really would love to see Sonya Deville be taken seriously at some point.
Well, you know, I was going to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, with Chelsea finally coming into the picture, and God, this breaks my heart to say this.
Matt Cardona is showing up.
Yeah, fuck. I didn't say that.
Sorry, Liz.
But anyway, is there a possibility that Sonya and Chelsea get the push now?
Well, remember this. Sonya got into the match because Carmella, for some reason, was pulled from the original match. It was supposed to have Carmella and Chelsea.
Yes.
So, I would like to see it happen. They can't keep using Chelsea as this Karen-like, woe was me character forever.
Exactly.
I want to see Sonya Deville be taken seriously, but at WrestleMania, anything can happen. And I'm wondering if there's going to be another surprise return regarding someone that's connected to one of these ladies in particular that would just kind of shake everybody's interest. But that being said, I'm going to take – I hate to do this. I'm going to go with Rousey and Shayna only because people have been calling for this duo for a long time. And I don't think they're ready to put Ronda out to pasture just yet. And I think this is one way for her to still be relevant in the WWE.
But she's terrible on a mic.
They both are.
So
Shayna's no winner. this is the time now you find somebody to be their mouthpiece. This is where Paul Heyman would come in.
So is this where Vicky comes back and becomes their manager?
That's another great idea, but that can't happen until July, though.
Oh, okay.
Because her contract is up. Even though she's not being used and she's been sent home.
Okay.
I don't know if she can.
But then that can build up for them taking on the titles at SummerSlam.
I mean, that's a possibility. I would love to see Vicky back in here. And of all these teams, you're really looking at three I guess maybe not 2-2, 2 face. I like it. If they win and they go forward after the tag belts with Becky and Lita, I love the idea of Vicky coming back being their mouthpiece.
Well, we know people that know people.
Yeah, but not all those people will spill people.
Oh, okay.
But In the interim, Paul Heyman being their mouthpiece, after all, he's worked with Brock, who's an MMA fighter. These two had that experience.
What about MVP?
They don't fit their stable right now.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay.
Brock Lesnar versus Amos. This is almost a joke of a match, but Ronald,
this could be my other bathroom break. I'll take Amos because I want somebody to go home and go to pasture.
Speaking of pasture, Ronald?
I'm going to say Brock's going to end up pulling it out somehow.
He's taking Brock?
Listen, he can't be right all the time. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna agree with you about almost, especially if MVP is trying to rebuild the Hurt business in some capacity. You can't build it around Amos, who is going to lose to Brock and have him part of that.
Brock F5's
he might F5 him, but that doesn't mean he's going to win.
So Thomas is taking Lesnar. Who did you take?
I'm taking Amos because you can't rebuild the Hurt business with Amos if he's going to be part of it. Lost to Brock. So who did Thomas take? He's taking Brock.
Lesnar.
All right. Edge versus the Demon, Finn Balor in Hell in a Cell. And Hell in a Cell is supposed to have the old traditional original look to it, for whatever that means.
It's not going to be red. It's just going to be the solid. It's just going to be the solid black color like it originally was. It ain't going to be the red they were using.
Okay, that's good. All right, winners.
I'm going to Edge.
Okay. Thomas says Edge. Why? What?
They agreed.
Oh, Thomas and Ronald agree.
I'm taking.
Yeah, I know. I was noticing this. We agree on most of these matches.
There's hope for humanity.
I'm taking Edge.
Okay.
I think this will be Edge's last match for a while.
If Edge wins, what does that do for Finn Balor in the Judgment Day? Do we see a disbanding of some sorts of the Judgment Day? Let's say they get rid of Finn Balor then, and it's just Dominic, Rhea, and Priest. Guy Ronald?
No. I foresee them and the LWO going at it.
Even though if Balor loses?
Yeah.
Okay. So what you're saying is Balor can lose and still not have it hurt him.
Yeah.
Because part of this is retribution for what they did to Beth Phoenix, too.
Okay.
Yes.
So my answer, by the way, is Edge also, just for the heck of it.
Let me use a little bit of common sense here.
We have 5 minutes. Just give everybody time.
This is fine.
Yeah.
If we go back to night one, 3 of us took Rhea Ripley to win the championship. If she wins the championship, she's going to have to defend it as a singles wrestler.
Correct.
She's going to be, as far as I'm concerned, she's going to be out of that faction. She's going to be champion. She ain't going to have nothing to do with Dominic no more, or Finn, or Priest. Okay. So in saying that, I really think that they're going to disband.
I think Rhea could separate, and I think Dominic and Priest, I think they can hold their own. Maybe they just become a tag team.
Is my wife still in here?
I don't know.
Once Dominic gets his ass beat, all right, he's going to turn, and he is going to become a singles wrestler, okay, and he's going to become a face
and take over LWO.
Yes,
interesting. All right, so we're all.
Hopefully, that didn't take too long.
Well, we're gonna have to be quick with 3 minutes.
Okay.
So we all agree on Edge. WWE Intercontinental Championship: Gunther, Drew, and Sheamus.
Gunther retains.
Ronald.
I think Sheamus is going to win it.
Sheamus. By the way, Liz is still in the chat room.
Okay.
By the way.
Hi, hun.
Thomas, we're looking for your answer on the IC. I'm going to take Gunther because I believe Drew and Sheamus, as we've been seeing, they are just going to They've been going at it against each other, and I think those guys will break down at some point in the match. So,
who did Thomas take?
Thomas says this Ray and Dom feud is far from over. Great, but I need to know who your answer is regarding Drew. He says Drew. He's picking Drew to get his WrestleMania moment.
Okay.
I kind of like his thought process,
Yeah.
but I don't like the IC belt for him to do that with. He needs the heavyweight belt, in my opinion.
Yep.
Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair and Asuka. This should be an interesting match for a lot of reasons.
I think the lady that sprays the mist is going to win.
Asuka. Okay. Ronald?
Or Vegas.
I say Belair.
Belair?
Okay.
Thomas, give us your answer on that match. I thought it was interesting. Just before the Rey Mysterio introduction, they did a little quick 30 seconds on. He says Asuka. They did a quick 30 seconds on Bianca. They showed her on camera sitting next to Ford. She got a nice ovation, but then they showed Asuka paint-free. The crowd erupted. So that should tell you.
Asuka's beautiful.
She absolutely is.
What are you taking?
In that match, I am going to take Asuka.
Okay.
I think it's time for Belair to have a new chase.
Okay.
And last but not least, Reigns and Rhodes, the R versus R. Real quickly here, so we wrap up. Ronald, we'll give you the first shot.
I'm going to take Cody.
Cody for Ronald. Thomas, get your answer in there, please. Chief. He says Cody, by the way. Thomas does.
I say Roman retains. The feud goes on until SummerSlam, and that is where Cody is going to win the belt.
I like both of those ideas.
The Usos losing the belts. Okay. Roman's retaining the belt. So there will be one belt still in the family.
Combine them all.
I'm going to say Cody because the story's been too great with his. Of course, he also lost time with the shoulder injury, the pec and all that. But I just like Cody, and then they can continue the feud still with Reigns chasing him for SummerSlam. All right, been a great show. We are done. The quarter is running out of the slot. There's so much more that we didn't cover, believe it or not, but it is all about WrestleMania. Matt, for whatever the reason, he's probably enjoying NXT, couldn't get a signal out, whatever it is. So, Matt, we'll catch up with you. Hopefully, you'll send us your picks so we can get you in the mix as well. So, first and foremost, Ronald, thank you so much for joining us today. Literally, last minute, I'm on my way to the studio, and I called Ronald at like 8 o'clock. Could you? Absolutely. So, thank you for joining us last minute. Been a lot of fun.
No problem.
Chief.
Everybody be safe. Have a great week.
Thank you. Chief, final thoughts.
Thanks, Ron, for coming in. Appreciate it. Thomas, my brother, please get well. All joking aside, please get well. I know you got the weekend to rest, so do what you need to do for yourself. To all our fans, our family, everybody, be safe. Have a great week. Chief loves you all. And I really had a good time today. Bruno Sammartino, Fabulous Moolah, Johnny May Young, Hector,
Johnny Knoxville,
Pedro
Ronald,
Morales.
Now, forget it. You're fired.
Pedro Morales.
Did you hear what he said?
What?
Johnny Knoxville.
Johnny yeah, hell yeah. Johnny Knoxville.
Nice knowing you.
Yeah.
Put him on mute. Put him in the penalty box.
Johnny Knoxville.
All right, no, I'm only kidding. You can put him back up. All right, with that.
Turn it over to my co-host.
All right, join me in 1 hour, Aaron's Hour. I got two great guests. Jay Rankin, who wrote a book called Under the Neon Sky, a Las Vegas doorman story, and singer Sandy Knights will be joining me live in the studio. Jay will be on video. Please make sure you tune in an hour. With that, don't quit your day job. Next week, we're going to review all that went on to WrestleMania. Matt will be back, hopefully safe and sound. Rhonda will be back in the chat room causing problems for Thomas next week, of course. And Thomas is back he doesn't even have to be in studio to cause trouble.
No, they can both be duty.
In the chat room.
Yeah.
I get more entertained by that sometimes.
I know.
Anyway, thank you for watching. As always, be kind to everybody. Wives out. We're all we have. See you next time right here on Thoughts Count Anywhere.